Hi, everyone. I'm Luke McConnell, joined by Southern Nazarene new men's basketball coach BJ Foster. Delighted to have you with us for this introductory interview. And BJ, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. It's a new world for you here in Oklahoma and Bethany. What brought you here to Southern Nazarene, first and foremost?
Yeah, well, it's a new world for sure, but we are extremely excited to be here. I mean, it has been just so great getting to know everyone on campus and the alumni and the boosters, and we just feel really blessed to be here. Every day it's a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable, and but the tradition that they have here and the support that's here, I mean, it's really a special place, and looking forward to putting a team together and hopefully doing some good things.
Now, you spent most of your playing and coaching career in the state of California. Oklahoma, obviously, a long way from California. So, what attracted you to Southern Nazarene?
Well, the university. I mean, the university is, I've known about Southern Nazarene, Bethany Nazarene for many years, and just the quality of education, the quality of people that really care about the students here is unbelievable. And then you throw in the fact that it's had an unbelievable basketball tradition and the support and you know it starts from the top up and their commitment to a great basketball program that can be on the national stage and so I mean it was really a no-brainer when the opportunity came that you know what, this is a spot that we want to be.
Going back to your time at Cal State San Marcos, the past 7 years there as head coach, past two, you've taken the Cougars to the NCAA tournament. How were you able to build that program from both your time as an assistant and in the past 7 years as head coach?
Yeah, it's always about recruiting the right guys, and we were fortunate that we always recruited really great kids that were committed students that really loved the game, and we were able to build on that, and we put a system together that guys enjoyed playing, and that guys really took ownership in, and so defensively we're extremely sound, and offensively we moved the ball and didn't turn it over, but we're really aggressive, and so it took a lot of work to get that foundation there, but we're really happy the way that turned out.
A lot of folks around here and in the region in general view the Central region as one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in D2. From your perspective, out in the West Regional, what was your vantage point on the Central region over the past several years?
Well, I mean, anytime you got the national championship or national championship team for many years in a row coming out of that region, it's an extremely tough one. Obviously Southern was able to take them down last year and put a little chink in their armor. But there's a lot of quality teams all throughout, and so the one great thing about Division II basketball is uh, it's not uh, ACC versus a Big Sky conference. Everybody is on an even playing field, and so it's about it's about working, it's about getting your system right and recruiting the right players that fit the university, and if you do that, and then anybody has a chance. And I think that's what's so great about our level is every year there's new teams that make the tournament. There's the same teams that have a little bit of a tradition, like a Southern Naz, and it's a special level and a lot of fun to be in. And but yeah, the region is extremely tough, but everybody's extremely tough. I mean, if you want to win the big one, you got to go through eventually, um, and you just look and see kind of around and the teams that are coming out, and um, but you also know you can compete with them and you have a good chance.
You talked about recruiting the right guys, building the roster in a way that fits your style. The transfer portal is just a big topic in college sports in general nowadays. And
Hmm.
on one hand, it's the reason you're coming into a bit of flux as far as the roster goes, but also gives you the ability to quickly rebuild the roster. What are
Sure.
your views on the transfer portal in general, and how's that helped you over the past few years as head coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's my views are a little bit. I believe guys should have an opportunity to go and play at a school that fits them. I think the 4 years is such a special 4 years. If guys aren't happy or things aren't going well at that particular place, that maybe they get a new chance to go. I think it's on the other side of that. I think the grass is greener on the other side mentality when someone does do extremely well at a school, that, oh, maybe I need to go and leave. And I think then they miss out on some of the good things that come with being a successful player at a university. And so I think there's good, I think there's bad to it, but we don't get to make the decisions on that. And so we just go with the way the NCAA provides the rule, and our mission hasn't changed. We're still going to be looking for the best fit for the school, but the best fit that the best player that fits our system.
Might be a bit early, but do you anticipate any of your former players at Cal State San Marcos coming out to Bethel?
Well, we had a lot of seniors this year, and so that's that's just part of it. And so we're recruiting all over the place right now, and so we're just going to look for the best guys that fit the school. And if that means they come from San Diego, that's great. If that means they come from Sydney, Australia, that's great too. So it doesn't quite matter to us, as long as they are bought into what we're trying to do and are a great fit.
On a more personal level, what attracted you to coaching in the first place? Obviously, you played at Point Loma, finished out your career at Biola, but what attracted you to the concept of coaching?
Well, I grew up a coach's kid, and so my dad was the head coach at Point Loma Nazarene University when I was growing up, and so part of the reason I'm so familiar with Southern Nazarene is because a lot of those universities would get together and play each other, and they all knew one another. And so the seven Nazarene universities throughout the country, and so I've known the tradition of Southern Naz primarily because I grew up a coach's kid going to games from a young age, and I just always had that competitive nature in me, and basketball just made sense, and different concepts and understanding of the game was always there. And so it just was kind of a natural progression to where we are now.
And what have you learned over the course of your coaching career? Have you found that you've adapted a certain style that you want to play, or have you kind of learn more flexibility based on the guys you have on the roster any given year?
Yeah, I think both. I think you have your system, you have your defensive system that you believe in, you have your offensive philosophy that you believe in. I think the defense system is pretty much well set. This is how we're going to play, and the offensive system, I think you got to tweak a little bit to your personnel. I mean, I think at this level, if you can really put your guys into their strengths where they make plays the best with the proper spacing, and you give them a chance to show what they can do. But you got to put them in the right spots. And so a ball screen for this individual might not be the right ball screen for this next individual. And so there is a little bit of tweaking. But I've found that the system that we have defensively has produced quite a few turnovers a game that we average, and I found that the offense doesn't turn it over quite that many times, and so generating more possessions is always what we're looking to do, and so recruiting the right guys to be able to execute those things on both sides is important.
Who are some of the influences who have most impacted your coaching style and just the way you coach?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been fortunate. I've worked with a lot of good coaches. Each of them was different. I worked with 4 different coaches. Some had some strengths here that I picked from, and some had some strengths here that I picked from. So I'd say all of them influenced the way I think about the game. I think probably more of the influence is how they communicate to their players and how they teach the game. And each of them have their different styles as well. And so, I think it's putting my personality with the teaching and with the parts of the game that I think guys enjoy playing. I think that's extremely important. that guys are getting better, so that if they do have professional dreams to go play on beyond this level, that we're getting them better so that they're able to do that. And so I think it's a combination of a lot of influences. There's definitely the coaches that I tend to watch a little bit more on TV just because I like their style a little bit more. The old Villanova coach I thought was a really good coach. I think Kelvin Sampson down at Houston. I think they had two distinctive things that set them apart from other programs, which I always admired when you could watch a game and you knew what you were going to see out of that.
You mentioned just the way that coaches communicate with their players. Southern Nazarene, obviously, a unique mission in comparison to other universities around the country. How attractive is that to you, both from a coaching perspective and a person perspective?
That's the reason I'm here. To be honest, it's the mission of the school, the people that are following through with the mission, the people who are living out that mission every day when you walk around campus. When you're on campus here, you can just sense that people care, and people are greeting you, and people are acknowledging you, and you're acknowledging them, and there's just this great presence about it that you don't get at a lot of places. And I felt that the first day I was here. And I think when people actually care about the development, the spiritual development of the individuals, as well as the personal development and the academic development, and when people are really invested into the students, you can feel it. And you can definitely feel it on this campus, more so than probably any place I've ever been in this short amount of time. And so that's exciting. The players have shared that with me, that they feel that. Alumni feels that and shares that. And so it's really a special place.
And do you feel that mission allows for a better balance where the coaching, the winning and everything doesn't get too out of balance with the character building and the family mindset that you want to bring to the program?
Yeah, I think there is that nice balance, but I also believe that when you're going to do something, you got to do it to the best of your ability. And I think going after and becoming the best basketball player you can be is part of that. And so part of the development, part of the spiritual development, I think, giving your best and your consistent best and the responsibility that you have as a basketball player, I think it all kind of ties together. And so, but there's no question that the trifecta of the spiritual development, the academic development, and basketball development are all present here at this university, and everybody feels that, which is great.
Just on a bit of a more personal note, what are some of your hobbies, things away from basketball that allow you to recharge and refocus?
Yeah, well, I've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. My daughter will be turning 8 here pretty shortly, and so they take up the majority of the time, which I'm very happy to give them when we're away from basketball. And so, my wife and I we always like to travel whenever we can. And see new things and see new places, and loving to spend some time with the family is number one. Yeah, I'll play a little golf here and there, probably on the side, number two.
Yeah. Have your travels ever taken you to Oklahoma before now?
Oh yeah, we've got some relatives out here, and just outside Oklahoma City, and my mom is from the Panhandle of Texas, a few hours away from here, and so right on the border of Oklahoma. And so we spend every summer out here in this part of the country for my childhood, and so I've been out here a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. And how big is that for you personally, as far as recruiting goes, and just making that adjustment, coming from California to already have a kind of a good grasp on the region and things like that?
Yeah, it's a transition. It's a learning process, but at the end of the day, it's still identifying players and selling them. And so, yeah, you might have to do a little more work to vet them to see if they bring exactly what you want to the table. But it's still sales, and it's still selling the fact that this is a life-changing university. This is a heck of a basketball tradition that we have here, and this is a system that we plan on putting you out in. I think once you get by all the other parts of it and you just get on the phone and you get kids here, I think it all gets back to what you've done for the last however many years doing it.
And BJ, what are you most excited for about getting out on the court with the guys in the summertime and coming up in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, summertime is always the work piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching piece is kind of my favorite part, obviously. And so, I just want to get to work, get our staff together, get everything lined up, get our players here, get that all figured out, what we're going to have with the roster, and then start thinking about basketball. And obviously, the transition, moving, all the other stuff that we've got to do this summer. I mean, it'll be a busy summer for us, um, but really, I just look forward to putting a good team on the floor and really competing and starting this era.
Well, BJ, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to many more conversations down the road, and welcome again to Southern Nazarene.
All right, thank you very much.